Will the Bengals slay Lamar Jackson and the Ravens and get to 5-2? Hi again, everyone. I'm James Erpine with allbengals.com and Cincinnati Bengals Talk here outside of Paul Brown Stadium, where Cincinnati preparing for a matchup of epic proportions. Let's be honest here. Who would have thought that Week 7 of the NFL season, the Bengals could be playing for first place, not only in the AFC North, first place in the AFC, but that's exactly where Cincinnati finds themselves after 6 weeks. But to do it and to get to first place, they're going to have to take down Lamar Jackson, who's 5-0 against the Bengals, has been one of the top quarterbacks this year, one of the high-end MVP candidates through 6 weeks. And so when you look at it on paper, this is going to be a tough matchup. And according to SI Sportsbook, the Ravens opened up at 6.5-point favorites. It's gone back and forth from 6 to 6.5 throughout the week. This is going to be a tough game. There's no doubt about it. And I'm going to give you a couple keys here to victory and then give you my prediction. By the way, prediction-wise, we're back to 3-3, baby. Back to 500 here as I try to rally myself after a rough start. Was 1-3 after 4 weeks, which is not where I think any of us expect to be when you make your predictions. Either way, some keys to victory on Sunday in Baltimore, which we will be there, by the way. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow along as we track the Bengals all weekend long. And the first key is pretty simple, and it starts offensively, not defensively, because asking this defense to shut down Lamar Jackson, it's a tough task, and it might be a little unrealistic. But offensively, this Bengals team, I've talked about fast start. How about sustained start? Not just scoring on the first drive, not just hitting a couple explosive plays. And I don't even want to give you the Bengals a goal points-wise, but they need to be able to sustain drives because the pressure that Lamar Jackson puts on opposing defenses, the Bengals defense might play well, but if they have to play 20 minutes in the first half and have to be on the field for 2/3 of the game, well, it's not going to go well even if the Bengals offense is scoring. So they need to sustain drives, especially early in the game, and that's on Joe Burrow. And we heard CJ Uzama earlier this week talk about it, Joe Burrow's pre-snap ability, his ability to recognize the blitz. That needs to be amplified by 10 this week against the Ravens because defensive coordinator Don Wink Martindale is going to blitz 40 to 45% of the time. It's going to be coming from different angles and different areas and different players in different times, and most quarterbacks don't expect it, which is why a prime example, not just last year 27-3 in Baltimore when Joe Burrow played the Ravens for the first time. Justin Herbert got a taste of it this past week where they put up just 6 points. I mean, think about that. 34-6, just complete blowout. And so it's got to start with number 9, and it's got to start with this offense. And tying into Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor, Brian Callahan, this is the week. You've been able to overcome the offense not being as good as I think a lot of people, including myself, expected them to be. This is the week to put together the game plan of your life, where it's going to keep Joe upright and you're going to take advantage and put him in a position to succeed at the same time. Put up big plays and points and in early on and sustain drives consistently throughout the game, all 60 minutes or 70 if it goes to overtime for the first time this season. And then the second thing, and the second key is defensively, get some heat on Lamar Jackson, hit Lamar Jackson, maybe even confuse Lamar Jackson a little bit. Look, defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo has done a great job so far this season. You're seeing more twists, stunts, to get pressure on the quarterback, different things scheme-wise that we didn't see last year. And I think it has to do with the personnel. Well, DJ Reader, Larry Ogunjobi, BJ Hill, those guys have to step up and make a difference. Obviously, Trey Hendrickson and company as well. This team needs to try to contain Lamar Jackson. And that's much easier said than done, especially with a guy like Hollywood Brown on one side that just runs for days. And you may cover him for 4.5 seconds if you're Chidobe Awuzie, but if Lamar Jackson's back there and he buys some time, you might have to cover him for 5.5 seconds, which is a lot to ask for. And then defensively, you also got to find a way to slow down Mark Andrews. He crushed them last year. The Bengals have to score 30 points this week if they're going to beat the Ravens. That is, honestly, I think that's a minimum. Because you look at this Ravens team and what they've done at home, they've topped the 30-point mark every time. They struggled against Indianapolis for 3/4 of that game, and they still get to 31 and beat Indy 31-25. And look, I get it. It went to overtime, but still, this Baltimore, their offense is just going to be too good. So you could play well, much like Aaron Rodgers a few weeks ago, play well, and you look up, and you got a 40-piece on you. And so 30 is the minimum that this offense has to put up. And a matchup I'm going to be watching, what do the Ravens do with Jamar Chase? Is it going to be Marlon Humphrey? Is it not going to be Marlon Humphrey? That's certainly one that I'll be keeping an eye on, because if I'm the Ravens, I would say, all right, 44, Marlon Humphrey. Shadow Chase, follow him everywhere he goes, lock him down. We need to make someone else beat us because he's been their offense all year. If I'm the Ravens, that's what I would do. Not sure if that's what they're going to do, but me, it's exactly what I would do. And then if Chase does make a play, Marlon Humphrey's so good at poking the ball away and forcing fumbles. And you really want to, especially after the past couple of weeks, to me, if I'm the Ravens, take away Mixon, take away the deep ball to Chase specifically, and make Higgins make a deep play. Make Tyler Boyd have a 10-catch game. Make Joe Burrow be patient when he's got the zero blitzes and those type of schematic pressures bearing down on him. And so I think this Bengals offense is certainly more prepared than they were last year. I think they're going to have a better showing this week and this Sunday than they did last season against the Ravens in both matchups. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think they're there yet. They go on the road, they lose. I got the Ravens 31, the Bengals 27, a close one, a game that goes down to the wire, a game where Joe Burrow in the fourth quarter will have a chance to drive the Bengals down and take the lead. I just think that they come up a tad short in Baltimore on Sunday. But the 6.5, the 6 points, whatever it is, right now, according to SI Sportsbook, well, they would cover that. So Joey B with the cover. Either way, whether they win, lose, draw, which would be an odd ending, and neither team would be in first place in the AFC if that happens, at least likely not. We're going to have you covered regardless of the outcome in Baltimore, before the game, after the game. So hit subscribe, ring the bell. You're going to get content right here on this channel, Bengals fans, that you're not getting anywhere else. And that's why you came here to Cincinnati Bengals Talk, and we plan on delivering. So until next time, I'm James Erpine saying goodbye for now from Paul Brown Stadium.